Today we got a special guest, Nicole, aka Nikki. Nikki, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, she even dressed for the occasion.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, no doubt. So, Nikki, we're gonna get you started. As usual, we play craps.
Okay.
You know how we handle business here. But while we playing craps, we're gonna ask you a little bit about, life experiences, right? Because you're not a millennial. You're what?
Generation Z.
Okay, so you're Gen Z. Cool. All right.
So what age is that?
1999. Well, that's the year I was born.
Okay, 99.
So you're 25.
I'm 24.
Oh, you're gonna be 25.
Yeah.
Okay. The somewhat younger generation,
Yeah.
right? To get a little bit of feedback, insight on how it is currently in the dating scene. You
Yeah.
feel me? Because I think that's what the actual fans want to hear, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So-
So because it is actually
different,
like a major gap compared to how we grew up to now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot's changed.
All right, so I'm gonna have you start rolling first. So let me get you started with the dice real quick. And you want to put down your initial bet.
Okay.
All right, hold up. All right, so Nikki, set it off. 7. Okay. All right. So one of the things that I forgot to mention, for one, you both win, right? So let me get you your chips. Real
Show
quick.
me the money.
All right.
All right.
So pick up your winnings. But aside from that, anytime we roll a 7 or 11, as usual, we're taking shots, baby. Cheers.
Cheers to the Generation Z's. That's good. All right.
Roll again. 9. All right. Winning number's 9. Put some bets down if you want.
Should get some singles. Let me get 12 on 6 and also on 8, please.
3 change. 12 on 6. 3 change for the 8.
Yeah, thanks. Also 2 on feeling a little lucky with now Nicole's here. 1 on 7. Let me get 2 on field, please. Or 10 on the field.
All right.
So Nicole, being 25, are you currently in a relationship or have any
Yes.
past relationships?
Yeah. I'm
No.
currently in a relationship.
You kind of in a relationship right now? What about like any previous relationship? Like, was there any troubling or?
Yeah, I used to be in toxic relationships, I would say. My previous relationship was
Well,
really
what?
toxic.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, but what would be considered toxic relationship to you?
Well, to me, it would be, I guess, just there was like different level of respect or boundaries that I guess that I want that wasn't being, like, I wasn't being appreciated the right way or valued the right way. So it was just certain things that the person was doing that wasn't making me feel valued. Mm-hmm.
How did you feel when those things were happening? How did that make you feel?
Well, it didn't make me feel good. As a woman, it doesn't make you feel secure. So it kind of just brings down your security level. Like, you start feeling insecure. You don't feel like too good about yourself. So it's not a good feeling, to not feel, good.
Okay.
Well, how long have you actually been with this person?
Well, I was with the person for 6 years.
Mm.
But it was also my first relationship. So I think that has a lot to do with why it was a little hard, maybe. Where I felt like I wasn't appreciated, but I didn't really know how to leave. So I guess.
So let me ask you this, like, just according to like toxic relationship and it being your first relationship, would you consider it being toxic for the fact is maybe you love this person and you didn't really know how to get out, even though you probably was getting low self-esteem and feeling bad about yourself, but you loved them enough to kind of like
I think
work?
it had to do with that also, but also being attached to the person. Because after you're with the person for a long amount of time, you don't only get used to the person, you're also used to their family, and you get close to you get close to their family. So it's kind of hard that you're not just not leaving them, you're also leaving like their family.
Mm.
And also when I got with him, I was really young too. I was 17. So imagine you're with someone from 17 to 25. They do see you grow up, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you have to leave all the memories. You're not just leaving them, you're leaving the people.
So in other words, it was probably like tough to let go. What was the breaking point for you to actually be like, you know what, you're done?
Well, I think like I was starting to grow, I'm growing more, and I realized that our viewpoints weren't the same. Like, I wanted to do more stuff, and he didn't want to like ever do something that I wanted to do. It was always based on what he wanted to do and how he felt, but he didn't really take into consideration to how I felt. And I would be like, oh, I don't like how you're doing this. Like, let's talk about it, but it wouldn't be changed. It would still be like the same thing. Same thing would be happening, and it wouldn't change. So
See, that's tough. Now, the one thing that really caught my ear was that you started at 17.
yeah.
Now, I also have a 17-year-old daughter. Like, So how did your parents take into play? Obviously, they got involved in the relationship, or you try to keep it under wraps?
I think since the beginning, my parents didn't, like the partner that I chose, but they're my parents, and at the end, like you choose who you want to be with. So I guess they just took it as like you're gonna learn, and one day you're gonna realize like what's better for you, what's better out there for you.
Tough love.
Yeah.
What are some of the signs that you would see now that you've been in a toxic relationship, right? That you would steer away from in your current relationship or a future relationship?
Well, I mean, everyone's different, but personally, like me as a female, like I don't really like someone that's too friendly, and there would be like times where I would feel like, I don't know, I would get dressed really nice and like, feel good and stuff like that. But when we would go out and stuff, he was always like trying to look around or see what else is out. Like, I don't know, it made me feel like he would be looking at what else is out there. Because a guy's a guy, he's gonna look, but when you're with your woman and you want her to feel like good, you need to like minimize how you do it. You're not just gonna be like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So making you feel secure was one of the main factors.
Yeah, making me feel secure. Also, like I felt like I was doing a lot. Like I would, if he wanted like some food, I'll make some food, or if he wanted his clothes washed, like I'll probably wash it. Like I would just do a lot, and I just never felt like it was like appreciated. I'd be like, oh yeah, you do this, but it's like it was never really like valued.
So basically, at a young age, you was raised in a house where culture was involved, like learning how to cook and do it, and he kind of felt like he wasn't really appreciating you for.
I guess he wasn't really valuing like the type of woman that I am, because in my generation, women are different. Nobody wants to like really, cook, clean. People want more to party and just have fun.
Right.
But I guess I grew up more in a culture where I'm not really like the type to really be out and party and do all that stuff. So I'm a little bit different. So I guess he didn't like value the type of woman that I was.
That's tough. As communication was part of the situation, like how
communication
did you go about
too, because I would communicate. I'll be like, look, let's have let's sit down and talk about what I don't like, and I would like you to change this, and just like he could be open with me too and tell me stuff that he doesn't like and wants me to change, and I'll be open to it. But it will be like I'll say something and he'll listen, but it would just come in one ear, go out the other, because nothing would change, and it just kept going on, and there's a point where everybody has their breaking point,
Yeah,
absolutely. So what was your breaking point? Like what was the camel off the straw off the camel's back? Like what was the last thing that you remember that you said, what, like I'm done, like I can't deal with this anymore?
I think my breaking point was where, I don't know, like I just started to feel like really down, and I was like, I just don't feel good anymore, like I feel like I wake up every day and like I'm not happy. Like I tried talking to him multiple times, it's not working, so I just stopped feeling happy. And so I was just like, if I'm not, you want to enjoy your life, be happy, like I want to have goals, and I just want to elevate myself more, and I just felt like he was not bringing me up, he was just bringing me down.
Yes.
So would you say that you, during that relationship, were you submissive to him?
Yeah, I was. I consider myself to be submissive, so I think I was, but even being submissive was still like, not enough,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, probably based off that, like he probably wasn't obviously doing the things necessary as a man to do to show security with her, so it's like, how did you get depressed during this relationship at all? Like, what was your depression level, if you had any?
I guess I was a little depressed. Yeah, at the end, I guess I did feel a little depressed, because I felt kind of like, is there something else out there that, or is it normal? Like, what I'm going through, is it normal to have that in a relationship, or is there something else out there, Because I guess the way he worded stuff, it made it sound like there was nothing else better out there.
So do you think that was like a manipulative way of keeping you within that relationship?
Yeah, like I guess the way he would word stuff would make me feel kind of controlled in a way where I felt like, like I would be scared to step out, because I'm like, maybe there is nothing else better out there, and I've been with someone for so many years, why not just work on that and move on with someone else?
So like basically the time invested, you're like, man,
Yeah.
I invested
So
all this time.
Yeah, because I did invest a lot of time, so I'm like, is it worth it to move on, or should I just work on what we have and see if maybe one day it'll change?
That's one of the biggest things. Like, when we fall in love and we've been like invested, like truly invested in a relationship for 6 years?
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, she's done a lot more than regular relationships now. Like 3 months in, people just, but it's like your investment that you put in. It becomes to the point where, I don't know if that's considered like narcissism, where a guy just like kind of like manipulative, telling you that, there's nothing out there, doesn't even appreciate you for what you're doing, and actually just probably there playing Xbox, you know what I mean? And you're like, hey, look, I'm looking around, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, right there in itself, it's like a hard thing to swallow, for the fact that like trying to see if there's anything out there, try to move on, because you're just like so comfortable in that zone you're in.
Yeah,
So
I guess you get used to it. Yeah.
Well, it also has to do with not knowing what you have until you lose it, right? Because sometimes you have to lose something to be able to appreciate it. It's unfortunate, right? But a lot of times, I mean, you know, we're old enough to have say that we've had some of our failures in relationships in our past at some point, you know what I'm saying, where we probably didn't value someone that we should have valued, and afterwards we're like, damn, that was a good person.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was the fuck up versus that person actually being the person who was toxic or damaging.
right,
You know what I mean?
and it follows up and it brings to the next thing. Like, we all learn. I mean, being human, you know, every aspect of our life, decision making, you know, goals we all learn. Now in relationships, we kind of like learn about ourselves. Did you learn anything about this past relationship?
Yeah, I learned like what I like and what I don't like. Like, so I learned like to value myself more and what I would want like in another relationship. Like what I right away like what I don't like. So like I wouldn't go with someone that is already doing stuff that I don't like. Because in the beginning you kind of already know. But since I was at a young age, I feel like I was just kind of like, oh, you know.
You were probably excited that it was your first relationship, and you didn't see, because you didn't know what to expect, and it was your first relationship.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of ignored all the red flags. I was just like, okay, it's my first relationship, I'm happy.
Right.
And at that stage, I was happy, but I guess as I got older, I started realizing like, you know, there's certain stuff that don't make me happy, and it's not changing, and it's been like a long time, so when is it going to change?
So for the young people from your generation, right, would you say, what advice would you give them, right, from your experience being in a somewhat toxic relationship, for someone that, for example, let's say their parents are trying to guide them, or their friends are trying to guide them, steer them in the right direction, you know what I mean? Like, for example, telling them, listen, you know what, you can do better, like value yourself more. What are the things that were holding you back within that relationship, that if you had to give advice to someone in that relationship right now, you would be able to tell them to just pay attention to, or to let go? You know what I mean?
I would just say that when you're young, you know, you kind of feel like you're your own boss and you don't take your parents' advice, but you should listen to your parents, because you could waste a lot of your years where you could maybe be in another point in your life, but you wasted a lot of your years doing, you know, dumb stuff, or just feeling like you wanted just to put everything into a person, but it wasn't worth it at the end. And I would just tell them to that there is other people out there, and there's people that are gonna value you, and you shouldn't just settle for someone just because you've been with them for a long time. Like, you should just.
So know your worth.
Know your worth.
It's really important, right?
Yeah, I believe so. But I want to add too is to also take your time. You know what I'm saying? To invest in somebody, even though we're not promised tomorrow. But I mean, like starting off, and then you started off young too. I mean, we're kind of like a little bit adolescents to it. So we're excited, we're happy. But like at this day and age, like we don't really know who we're in front of. So it's like taking your time and
getting to know someone.
Yeah. Because I mean, like I always tell like younger women, like if you're gonna be valued and appreciated, like the guy need to be chasing you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the other way around. Show him that he's actually interested in you to even want to move forward. So just with that saying, like how do you apply the relationship that you learn with about yourself? How do you apply that to the new relationship? Like you already flagging this dude, or green flags, red flags? Like,
yeah, like I'm already seeing like good flags, bad flags.
5. There's no 5 here, so you got that. All right. Any other bets?
Yeah, 2
All right. What do you want? 2 on 50?
Yeah.
All right. Roll again. Yo, 11. All right, shots, baby.
Sorry.
That's good.
Toxic, baby. All right, so yo 11, you guys don't win anything right now except for him.
Thank you, sir.
So you know what? So something that just came to mind right now is the fact that we're talking about toxic relationships, but there's so many different type of toxic relationships, right? Because your toxic relationship wasn't necessarily violent.
Yeah,
right?
It was more verbal, I think. Like
Okay.
it was more like gaslighting, manipulative, like as in like the stuff
mentally.
he would say would mentally like be like, oh yeah, you're right, like.
I get
But
it.
it wasn't like abusive. No.
Okay, so
But there is
like-
abusive, you know.
there's all different
There's
types of
manipulative
abuse.
and abusive
Right,
together,
right,
and that's
right,
worse,
right,
you know.
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, for the fans, it's important to steer away from physically and mentally abusive relationships, right? Because they never end up well in the long run. At the end of the day, you want to be in a relationship where it's good for both parties, right? You got to uplift each other, right?
Yeah.
So now, fast forward. Now, current day, are you dating right now?
Yeah, I'm dating.
Okay. So the person you're dating now, how does he differ from your previous relationship?
Good question.
Because I feel like he shows me more value, you know, like right away, like I don't have to tell him certain stuff, like he'll already do it. Like he'll post me, or if I look nice, like he'll be like, oh, you look really beautiful. And like when we go out, like I don't know if he might look, but he shows me respect. Like he's not like looking like you could tell the difference, like when someone's looking and when someone's looking like mischievously, you know? Right. So he'll show me like value, like he'll buy me nice things, like he'll just show me that he appreciates me. He tells me, like verbally, he'll tell me that he loves me. He's always telling me, like, advise me where he's at, like, oh, did you make it home? Are you like safe? Or he'll tell me like, oh, like exactly where he's at, so I never have to doubt, like, oh, where are you, like, or think about where he's at, because he's always updating me, like, I'm at work, or I'm with my friend, because you know you can have time with your friends, but he'll be like, I'm with my friend, I'm here, I'm leaving now. So I'm never doubting, like, oh, he hasn't answered me, is he okay? Like,
so he's doing this actually willingly, like you never.
I never have to. Yeah, I never have to tell him like, oh, you know, I would prefer this. Like he kind of just already knows like.
Okay, dope.
How to make it
so the communication level is really good.
It's
right?
good, yeah.
And with the transparency, it makes you feel confident in your relationship.
Yeah, because I feel better, you know. I don't feel as, you know.
Which goes back to one of the core things in a relationship: communication.
Yeah, right? It is important. And respect. You know, you have to respect and trust.
Respect, communication, trust, right? And that all goes hand in hand, because if you communicate, then
you're trusting, and then you don't leave that open room where you're kind of like, you don't know.
Nice. So now are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Okay, good. That's good that you've been able to transition from a toxic relationship to a relationship where you're actually happy with your partner, you trust your partner, you're confident with your partner. Do you feel like you in the current relationship that you're in, that you can build with that person?
Yeah, I can build with them because they're hardworking, so.
Okay.
And they're kind of like matching my goals too, like what I want to do, so it's like we're like a unity. We're not just like kind of just being together to be together and we don't have any goals, you know.
Did you, in your previous relationship, did you ever try to uplift your partner?
I feel like I was doing a lot of uplifting, but it was seen as if I was maybe trying to bring the person down. And not because I would say anything verbally, but I feel like they would just see me doing good and they'll just try to tell me things to make me feel like, oh, you know, yeah, you're doing this, but it's not enough.
Okay.
So it'll make me feel like, oh wow, like, you know, I'm not doing enough. And even like if like I'm very supportive, so like even if you're starting a business, like I would help try to like, you know, do stuff as a woman to help like your man elevate his business, but it'll just be like, oh yeah, but you know, you're not doing enough, you're not doing this. So
it was never enough.
Makes you feel, so it makes you feel like, okay, I don't even want to help them at this point because it's not appreciated.
Wow.
Yeah, so how would we classify it? Because like that coming from a man sounds weak as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like why would he even take to that? Because me growing up, it was all about lifting, communication, and always trying to look for that lady that could actually you could work and grow with. You know what I mean? So now times have changed. Like I feel like dudes are looking more for women to take care of them, and even if they try to do, it's like it's never good enough anyway.
So I think sometimes, I mean, we got to see all aspects of it, right? Because it's not just always just necessarily saying that partner was a horrible person, right? But sometimes maybe their upbringing was different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe their culture was different. You feel me? And they may not know any better, right? Because in certain cultures, certain habits, certain tendencies tend to be strong within that culture. You know what I'm saying? And then you growing up as a kid, not having the proper guidance or someone, right, or a man figure in your life telling you what's right, what's wrong, how to treat a lady, right, how to uplift a lady, how to become a good partner, right? You're kind of like, well, what I see is what it should be. You feel me? And now you're just enacting what you've grown up your whole life knowing. That's all you know. Now you have other people, right, that may be a little brighter, maybe a little wiser, and say, man, you know what? I know right from wrong, and that doesn't seem like it's something I want to lead.
Right,
Even though my
right.
parents might have done that, I want to steer away from that. Again, you got multiple types of people. You feel me?
Yeah, that's